Highguard, King Arthur, but black. Bet you didn't see that coming now, did you? What a time to be alive in any case. A disaster just waiting to happen. Are we gonna get a Concord level of experience? I sure hope so. It's gonna be great.
Salutations, everybody. It is Maddie here today. Hope you're all doing absolutely excellent because we're talking about your most anticipated game of 2026. The one that when you saw that reveal, you marked it on the calendar and said, everything else is going out the window. I'm playing that. We're talking about Highguard. Yes, the free-to-play PvP hero raid shooter.
Oh, wait, they actually made it free to play? Wow, I didn't expect them to actually do something like that. Whew. Man, now it's never gonna have an excuse why its player peak was 500.
That's coming from the creators of Apex Legends and Titanfall. It's that game that's not in an oversaturated genre at all that you saw and went, I want that because I don't get that anywhere. Indeed, Highguard is a drop in a very big bucket of live service hero shooter-like games that have arrived since 2016, and pretty much all of them have gone to the wayside. Everything from Lawbreakers to Crucible to even recent examples like X-Defiant, Splitgate, Concord.
X-Defiant, what a disaster. By the way, Marathon's saying it's not gonna be like X-Defiant. That's so funny.
Or just so many failed attempts that it's really difficult to keep track of. And I may have mentioned in that list games that you forgot about. Like for me, when I saw Crucible, I went, oh yeah, that one, right? Like they just arrived.
Oh yeah, I don't know what this is, but I mean, just look at this. Yeah, I'm not even surprised it didn't work out.
Yeah, that one, right? Like they just arrive, make no impact, and disappear, and they're lost to time. And what's hilarious?
Oh, it's another Amazon game, man. You know, when they launch games like this, you kind of understand that you're not really surprised that Amazon tried to fight Steam and lost, and no one even knew they existed.
To time. And what's
the only Amazon game if people can name is New World. It is crazy.
Hilarious about Highguard is even its name is derivative of its inspiration, which I don't mind wearing a little inspiration on your sleeve, but yeah.
Someone commented this on my video when I released it. Highguard Overwatch. Yes, it's literally the same.
You're the final announcement slot for the Game Awards, and you're like, hi, over, guard, watch. I'm like, this is a little too obvious here. Where's the creativity here? And it's games like these that I think they attempt to cast a wide net, appeal to so many people. And when you don't have that target audience, you appeal to nobody at all. And it's something that I'm waiting for developers.
No. This has an absolute massive problem.
At all. And it's something that I'm waiting for.
Of appealing to the modern audience, okay? Highguard's problem is not it's casting a wide net. It's casting actually an extremely small net that we know doesn't exist, or best case scenario exists as big as Dragon Age the Veilguard, which is no one. Still no one.
Developers and publishers to really wake up to, but I think they're too money hungry with the idea of, hey, if we get one live service game that kicks off, that recurrent revenue is going to be so nice that they just keep trying and keep trying and keep trying. So yeah, Highguard was the final reveal at 2025's Game Awards. And it was Keeley who was on my nice list that night because, hey, man, you showed up with Fate of the Old Republic, the most impossible video game announcement for me.
Fate of the Old Republic is going to be absolute edible vote garbage. We already looked into it. The guy who's making it made Dragon Age the Veilguard, Anthem, and some other Andromeda, and some other complete woke slop. And 20 years ago, he once worked at something good like twice.
And I went, this guy's all right, man. To all of a sudden daring to say that after we see this trailer, we'll want to play Highguard 2. To be fair, this is one of the most obviously money-hatted game reveals ever. When you're organizing the show and you're looking at all the content you have for 2025, when you have things like Fate of the Old Republic, Mega Man's return after a long hiatus, Control Resident, how about the double reveal for Tomb Raider? I mean, you had a remake and a new entry there. Literally so many.
Oh, man, the Tomb Raider was great.
There, literally.
Vogue losers were so goddamn mad that she's not some kind not disgusting. They were so mad. It was beautiful.
So many other options that could have got this final slot here. And I think I'm biased, of course, but Fate of the Old Republic felt like the most far-reaching, impossible style announcement that was at the show where I felt that was the obvious show closer. I'm not complaining that we got it to open things up, but look, man, like that would have been the showstopper, everyone talking about it. But it's here that we just see money plays a factor in the background where like you pay for that slot, you get that slot, and that there are moments like this, or was it Fast and Furious? You remember that time that they showed up and closed the show with that? It's just who's got the most money, who's paying for it. And yeah, everyone disliked that Fallout 4 style, man. We see here 4.9 to 58K ratio on IGN's channel, on Highguard's own YouTube channel, 1.4K to 13K ratio. No one seems to like this game at all, and I'm not saying that to be...
I mean, look at this. Why would anyone like it?
Like, I sincerely combed the internet, went through articles, went through Reddit, went through YouTube, just trying to find a video that went, hey, I think Highguard looks good. It is almost impossible to find any positive sentiment on this game, which is why we come to the conclusion that I think many of us have already. This game's cooked, dude. It's completely cooked. And we're going to get into why as well, because it's gone radio silent since its announcement in December. Like, they announced the game. They're like, we are Wildlight and we're making Highguard, and that was it. Nothing since then. This game comes out on January 26th, and nothing's happening. You have a hero shooter here with no...
Wait, what? It's coming out already? Oh, wow.
Character trailer. So no backstories for these characters, a way to invest us in this multiplayer conflict. And I know this is going to sound crazy, but like, remember how Mass Effect 3 had this really awesome handshake between its horde-based multiplayer mode and what was happening in the main story, and it could kind of influence your ending a little bit if you participate in all these fights happening on these different planets in the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer mode. Like, I think we need to get back to 360 PS3 era multiplayer days, not where we were in that element of every game had to have a multiplayer mode, but that you need to connect it to some sort of narrative. You need to ground the conflict and the characters in something interesting. I just think these days of...
Yeah, you need to remove character's ass and see what happens. Maybe the fans are gonna like it. Oh, man. Graves can't even have his cigar. Tracer can't have an ass. Man, dark times.
Overwatch-style games where it's like, here's a bunch of characters that look cool and at the time original before everyone started to copycat that game. Like, go ahead and have fun with these characters, and we'll...
They're not... Nothing about Overwatch's characters was original. Okay, monkey who speak. Black guy who likes music. German guy with big hammer. Gamer girl without an OnlyFans account. No, wait, actually, that is pretty unique. But I digress.
Unpack their story later in CG trailers on YouTube. I don't know. It's crazy how that all worked out. But that's what that was. But now we need way more as copycats have arrived. But you don't have character trailers. There's no explanation of the game modes. Like, what are we going to be doing in these multiplayer maps? There's no mentioning of support beyond the release here. Like, how often are you tuning the game? Any new maps, new heroes, new modes? Nothing on that. No tweets. If you go to any of the...
Oh, yeah. Marathon said that they're going to release, and, you know, they're not going to say too much, but they're going to have a roadmap. Oh, God bless the roadmap.
Highguard social profiles, you'll see nothing. They announce the game, and they're like, boom, see you later. Nothing. Any developers who have dared to speak out about their game have subsequently locked their profile, as you can see on screen here, or have just straight up gone offline here.
Simply for being excited to share what I poured myself into for years. Well, you poured yourself into something that we would call liquid wokeness and was stupid and should be blacklisted from the industry, and I hope you become jobless, broken, get addicted to the good stuff on the streets of America, okay? That's what I hope. We don't need people like you.
So there's no promotion. No socials are active. Everything's dead right now. And the game comes out at the time of recording this in 11 days. And there's just nothing happening here. Now, some people have speculated this will lead to a delay. I'll get into why I don't think that is the case here. But I could be dead wrong. Anyway, for now, let's just keep diving deeper, because I think this is fascinating that this game showed up final trailer slot for the Game Awards. Like, big wha-bam kind of reveal, and then just fell off a cliff from there. So It's possible, as suggested by Paul Tassi on Forbes when he wrote up about this, that they dumped their entire marketing budget, all the money they had, into this trailer slot here and said, we're going to make one impact and one impact only, because
yeah, that doesn't work like that. That they would do something. I mean, Twitter's literally free, right?
if you look at the Steam page, you'll see that Wildlight is not only making the game, but they're self-publishing it. I'm not aware of their financial situation. I don't know if they got anyone backing them, but there is no like major publisher behind them right now feeding them a little money where A, this game could remain on the market even after a flop for a couple of months, couple of weeks even. Nowadays, when you look at Concord, you don't know if it'll get that far. But if this is just a company that is self-funded and is self-publishing, there's a world where they did take all their money and just put it into this slot and said, we're going to hit a home run. People are going to look forward to this thing. We're out in 7 weeks from the time of this announcement. And boom, like we've made the impact. And this is all we have to do. We don't have to talk much at all. It's just going to do all the talking for us. And it did, just not in the way I think they had hoped. I also think it's equally possible and most likely that they know the game's reputation is set. And if they had a
but from the makers of Apex Legends, which is woes slop, it literally has so many trans and gay characters. Titanfall, something dead and forgotten, honestly, at this point, that this is the same as from the creators of New Vegas, of the Outer Worlds too. Yeah, no one who made New Vegas works at that place.
most likely that they know the game's reputation is set, and if they had additional content planned, there is literally no point in posting it right now, because you're not going to really do anything outside of fan the flames, right? They know many content creators across many platforms are just going to take it and use it as fodder for content to shit on the game. Even if it looks great and somehow turns around the public opinion, they know what it's going to lead to. So I feel like it's most likely that they canceled any marketing plans they did have, and their expectations.
I hate these counter-vocal lies. Maddie, please. Stop being a lying shill for once, okay? It's not that complicated, like, seriously. And it feels good to just say what you feel like. What? Dude, I hate these stupid opinions of, oh, people are gonna say negative things about it just to get the hate clicks. Bro, the reason the hate clicks work is because everyone hates it. Everyone doesn't hate the thing because there's a bunch of YouTubers like me making fun of this game. Not at all, in fact. It works because everyone already feels like it. I wish I had the power to brainwash everyone watching right now to press the like button and subscribe button, because it only takes less than a second and greatly helps out my channel. Thank you for everyone who does. I wish I could brainwash people like that. I wish I had the power some of these people claim that we have. Oh, they just say this thing and their audience instantaneously believes them and does this because they're brainless. I wish that was the case. I wish every time I said something stupid there weren't 15 people in the comment section calling me out for saying something obviously dumb. I wish it was that easy. I wish.
I say that we're no doubt in a different place, because after they announced the game, I was looking at their LinkedIn profile and they were posting that they're hiring, like, we're growing in the new year. Like, they had this big ambitious plan for after the game had
By the way, how the hell does this even make sense if the game's not even out yet?
It's like, this is going to do well, and this is what we're going to do next. We're going to scale up, and I think at this rate, you might be scaling down here. But yeah, Highguard's in a really bad spot. What's also interesting is when you try to look at Highguard's viewership for its trailers, it shows that the final trailer slot only matters so much. Like, in one instance, it got it more views than it probably would have received otherwise. Like, if you look at IGN's page, 460K views for Highguard, which isn't the worst in the world. I don't think all those views are going, I need to check this thing out here. But I think if this was announced in the middle of the show, you could easily slash that number by 75%. So there is an impact there, no doubt about it. But that's the high.
I'm not saying he's wrong, by the way. I'm just asking why. Because I personally have no idea if that's how it works. Seems just like speculation.
You can really find anything else, like GameSpot's was 19K. I think the Highguard YouTube channel was somewhere in the 100K.
Yeah, but GameSpot is like super trash.
Like, there's not much going on in terms of viewership. Whereas if you look at Mega Man's own YouTube channel, which has significantly less subscribers than what IGN's has. It got 2K views more than Highguard on its own YouTube channel alone. It's almost like the
Yeah, but people actually care about Mega Man.
Announcement has to be exciting to rope people in beyond the actual slot that you have paid for. And it's at the point where so much fire is around this game that we have someone who seems like they faked that they played the game just to say that it was ass. And I also thought it was a little cathartic when people were cooking up this dude's library, because I have a friend who has like a pretty identical multiplayer centric library, and I was asking him the same question, like, do you just hate fun? And I saw a lot of people just being like, dude, what's your library, man? I was like, okay, at least I'm not like that. I'm not trying to be like elitist and pretentious, but I was like, at least I'm not crazy when I looked at my friend's library here. But yeah, we're at that point now where like people are dogging on the game that much. And you can see in my live stream reaction when I watched it, I wasn't like, what is this crap? To be fair, I was plump and fed at that point, right? I got Mega Man, I got Photor, whole show could have sucked. I wouldn't have cared. I liked the double reveal for Tomb Raider, thought there was some interesting indie stuff there, etc., etc. So I had a good time with the show. But yeah, you can see even in my live reaction, I was...
By the way, only girl in the whole fucking trailer, and she's fully clothed. What an absolute waste.
But yeah, you can see even in my live reaction, I was like, this has to be a shadow drop. Otherwise, it doesn't really make sense, because this doesn't seem quite remarkable at all. But again, I personally didn't care by that point. But here's why it's cooked. Okay, so now we have all of this background information on like the disappearance and lack of marketing and lack of public support. But to be frank, and I know it's kind of a redundant, oversaturated talking point that's, despite it coming out in just 2014, has been used
absolutely Concord disgusting.
Over and over as like, look at Concord, it's the next Concord, it's the next Concord. But it was such a high profile failure that it's
you know, boys, it's all fine and dandy that we call it the next Concord, but this is the 5th or 6th or 7th Concord at this point. I mean, the last 2 years have been pretty fucking stacked in Concord, okay? I'm not kidding. Highguard is not the next Concord. It's like the 5th, 6th, or maybe even 7th Concord, because I probably have missed a couple of them.
It is going to be referenced for years and years and years, and this game is running into an identical issue.
God, I love Concord's design. This character have the ability to set things on fire with your mind. Use a children's fucking toy as a weapon. God, Concord was just... I mean, Concord literally was hold my beer peak autism.
Concord had. The difference is we have a pattern we can look at and go, we know what happened last time that type of thing came around. With Concord, it was like just building up to this beta, and then it exploded from there, right? Like, we got our hands on it. This is just looking and going, nope, no thanks. I'm sure, again, based off the pedigree, Apex Legends, Titanfall, I'm sure Highguard doesn't feel bad to play. What Highguard is lacking...
I mean, just look at this. Honestly, Marathon looks more palpable than what the hell am I seeing right here.
Play. What Highguard is lacking, in my opinion, funny enough, because it's a hero shooter, you'd think this would be priority one, is imagination. Imagination for its characters. I'm of the belief that we, as gamers, are kind of all in this mindset of the early 2000s, the late 90s, of just getting back to basics of like, cool guy, cool girl who's doing cool things. And that's what we want. When we look at Highguard's character cast, I mean, you can even see in some of the key art for the game, there's
Are you kidding me? I can smell the cast from here.
Character in kind of the blue and white with the sniper, and it looks a lot like Ana from Overwatch. And I look at that and I'm like, where's the imagination? Like, it's okay to look at her and say, I really like this character. Maybe the artist had a great memory with this character. It's one thing to copy paste, and another thing to actually take some elements and build off of it and create true art, true inspiration, something that connects with a player and makes them want to learn more about it. We're kind of stuck in this, I'd say, 2010s way of making characters where it's very soft looking, very almost cartoon like. And I'm not saying video game characters have to have this sense of realism and believability. Part of the beauty of video games, I think, are the exaggerated proportions. Like, I think of when I talked to Ken Levine in our interview about how, like, they made the eyes bigger and more expressive to kind of convey conversations between Booker and Elizabeth, for example, because they'd be pretty far away from each other, but you'd still see her performance, even though she was at that distance, because Ken didn't like to disconnect the camera there. So I think these exaggerated aspects of video game characters are fine, but it's the style in which they are presented, the haircuts, of course, like the outfits they wear, they all look very samey. And I think it's just a matter of getting back to basics and making cool characters do cool things. And with hero shooters being so well established, on just a side note here, I just think it's a mistake for companies to greenlight these projects. People aren't looking for.
Most of gaming for the last 10 years has been a mistake, Mr. Matty, okay? It is what it is. Anyway, that was Mr. Matty Plays 10 out of 10. Bye!